Hi, I'm Joe Connolly with a couple of entrepreneurs who are trying to take their businesses back from Grubhub and Seamless. David Singari of David's Soundview Catering and John Brennan of Menu Maven are trying to use local technology to establish regional food delivery services. And I just leave it to you to explain what the idea is, because a lot of business owners hope you succeed.
So from my end, I'm the non-technology side. I am the producer of food. The relationship with Grubhub and Seamless became too expensive from a profit standpoint. Once they escalated their commissions, it was a non-profitable business. We're doing over $1 million a year just in that segment, that division of our business, and it became unprofitable. We were losing money.
The fees were killing you.
Killing us, 20%, 22, 23%. I mean, what business segment do I run that I make 23% on? None. Right. And we have 4 different segments, 15% is the highest. We're around 8 to 10 on most of the others.
So something had to be done, and you're doing it.
Well, John is doing it, and I am just a vendor of his. His technology is local. He introduces us to the end user, to the consumers, corporations mainly. I am not delivering to homes. Many of his vendors do. I do not. I'm strictly corporate.
Right.
Corporation pays John. John pays me at the end. He's the middleman, runs the technology from the end user standpoint where they order.
So you were using Grubhub and Seamless to deliver corporate orders?
From day one, I was number 1 or 2 user in Fairfield County on Seamless Web when they came up.
So you guys knew each other and you saw a tech solution, John, or what?
We were actually competitors.
Yeah.
I ran a catering company that was a competitor to David's, and I started developing software to go after essentially office spaces. Large groups of people in one location. I decided I wanted to deliver individual meals to them. So I started building the software to do that. It wasn't originally called Menu Maven, but once my partner and I decided to expand and offer this to other restaurateurs and operators, my wife actually said, "You should call David." And I said, "You're out of your mind." I said, "He's our biggest competitor in the area." And she said, "Yeah, but you need this and he needs it."
Wow.
So I called and she was right. I think it was a 30-second phone call.
Yeah.
We'd never met before, we'd never spoken. And David said, "Hey, if you got it, I want to see it too." So he came over to my kitchen the next day, looked at what we were doing. I think you went live within like 3 days.
Yep, exactly right.
So what is it now? What does the customer look at? MenuMaven.com?
So what's unique about what Menu Maven's doing is we're not trying to take the customer away from the restaurant that's using our software. So no customer ever goes to MenuMaven.com to order anything. If you go to our website, you can't place an order on our website.
Brilliant.
So we're the software that powers the restaurants on the restaurant operation to help them connect better with their consumer. We also have a strong customer base that is mostly corporations, a lot of financial services, where if we take an office, say there's 1,000 employees in that office, all 1,000 employees order their meals individually through us about an hour and 15 minutes before they want to eat it. And they have what is essentially a virtual food hall, maybe 40, 50, 60 restaurants. The cool thing about it is David, along with those other restaurants, deliver all of their food at the same time. So if you're trying to feed 300, 1,000, 2,000 people, it's the most efficient way of letting the entire office get exactly what they want, but still creating that office unity, that social idea of everyone's eating together or at close to the same time.
So I'm continuing to use David's Soundview Catering website, but I don't even know it. My food is being delivered now by Menu Maven instead of Grubhub.
No,
by you.
us.
No,
He's just the tech behind it all.
You employ the drivers.
Cooks, drivers, everything. Yes.
We're creating the communication link between the consumer and the restaurant directly to the cook. We're helping the restaurant control their workflow so that it's a profitable operation that's focused on the execution of the food as opposed to sort of chaos that can happen with these other platforms.
When you were using Grubhub and Seamless, Were you still having your own drivers deliver?
Yes.
So what were they doing?
They're just the tech behind it.
Right.
So from a company standpoint,
They were adding
is
nothing.
They've got hundreds of employees. They can be at different levels, and it's usually paid for by the company. But you could be given $10 a day to spend. I could be given 15, and John could be given 30. So the tech behind running all of that and having a credit card in the background that if you wanted to spend 15, company pays for 10, Joe picks up the other 5. I can't do that, right? I couldn't do that internally. So the Seamless and the Grubhub had all of that. That's how it kind of started, is managing companies that bought lunches for their employees.
Yeah, or any
Oh,
portion,
that's how
or
it
any
started.
portion thereof.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't to send a sandwich to such an address.
No. Them doing any of the delivery is just the last couple of years. The Uber Eats and the Grubhub having drivers the last few years. They were just the go-between between the consumer and the restaurant to order the food and manage how it got paid for.
Because they were hip to how to do that before the average restaurant owner was. Yeah, right?
I would say differently. Originally, when online ordering started, to the restaurant, it was a source of advertising. It was a way of getting some new customers, and it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
But today, online ordering or food delivery, if you will, is its own segment. It's like fast casual was 20 years ago.
Right.
Food delivery now is a new emerging restaurant segment. And a new segment is not merely, hey, I post your menu and I'll email you an order. That doesn't work. When you're creating a new segment, you're talking about changing operations, you're talking about a different way of educating your staff, you're talking about a different way of procuring food. It's an entirely new business. Grubhub, in my opinion, is only doing delivery now because their advertising model no longer worked. You weren't bringing new customers to the restaurants anymore because all the restaurants were already in tune with the idea of online ordering through Grubhub or one of its competitors. It was only when Uber and Postmates and DoorDash started coming on the scene and they could out-advertise Grubhub because they said, okay, well, we have delivery staff and you don't need to worry about that one aspect. Grubhub said, oh gosh, okay, we now have to start doing deliveries too. And, from the outsider, I look at Grubhub stock and I can see the cost of that decision has been a bad decision in my opinion. We came back at it and said, online ordering is not the thing here. It's food delivery is the business. The best person to deliver David's food is David.
And the people he hires to do it.
That's correct.
He's going to have much better quality control. He's going to have significantly better time in his kitchen. He's going to have a better relationship with his employees. And his employees are going to see those customers. So you're creating that very tight bond between consumer and source, which is really important. We came at it, and again, I was running it for my own restaurants. I was building software to maintain my relationships, not to push the customers away. It never dawned on me, well, I didn't know Seamless and Grubhub existed when I started, but it never dawned on me that I would ask a third party to deliver my food. And also, the same way if I run a restaurant, I would never hire a third party company to be my wait staff. It's not logical. So Grubhub, the other platforms that are getting into that delivery system, they all lose money. That's the crazy side of this, is it's incredibly inefficient to use these third-party systems. It may feel efficient as a consumer, but the company that's running the drivers loses money. The restaurant loses a ton of money. It's kind of a joke. We came in to say, hey, this is a new business line. This is a whole new market, and it needs to be built from the ground up.
So how does Menu Maven, behind the scenes, make money?
We charge the restaurants a fee.
But far less.
Far less, and it's all inclusive, so there's no extra fees, there's no credit card fees, there's no, at one point Seamless had a system where the higher your revenue went, the higher their fees went, sort of the exact opposite of almost every other business. We look at it differently. The bigger piece of the pie that we're doing for a restaurant, so if we're running their website orders, if we're taking their orders through Facebook or Instagram, or that they're taking orders directly through our corporate accounts, the bigger piece of the pie, the lower our fees go. And it gets down really low.
And we're hearing the same thing in the city, a lot of complaints about the fees of Grubhub and Seamless. Right now, are you just happy to be doing this in Fairfield County? Will you do it in other places? Where do you go with this as a behind-the-scenes business?
So we started in Fairfield. David was the second restaurant to join the platform. We now have operations going in Houston. We have people in Boston, so we'll start operations in February in Boston. We're coming to New York probably in about 3 or 4 months. A lot of our Fairfield offices, which are mostly hedge funds, are sort of demanding that we come to New York. So
Really?
it's-
What
yeah.
a great problem.
Yeah, it's a nice problem to have. We have one office down in Orlando.
And those hedge funds are demanding that you come to New York. Why? 'Cause they're in Stanford or Greenwich. Do they care who's delivering in New York?
They do. It's more about the relationship of the service that we're providing. So in the workday, food is an extremely important part of everybody's day. It's their personal time, it's their break, it's their right. They want an exceptional experience. They may want a hot dog, but it's their hot dog, or they may want ossobuco, but it's theirs. They want to own it. The way we come at it is we're providing that real-time human connection using software to enable the entire organization. The hedge funds themselves, they're using our competitors in New York, and they're just finding them wanting. It's not working for them.
For
So-
service, quality, cost? all
Cost,
those reasons?
execution, the way they're being treated, and the restaurants on the same side. We consider New York to be a relatively easy market to penetrate, just because we understand our, right in the door, like, you realize you're losing money on every single order that you're currently doing.
Right, they do.
Yeah, and every restaurant's like, yeah.
So this strikes me, just tell me if I'm right or wrong, of a couple of local entrepreneurs using technology to now take their businesses back from the big out-of-state, out-of-town, wherever they are, guys who came in and gouged them on fees. You're trying to take your business back by using the technology.
Yes,
Same.
we want those restaurants to get their consumers back.
Because ordering online is no longer a big deal,
No, it's common day.
right?
You can do it anywhere, but we're the hospitality business, right? So this whole relationship is non-hospitable with some of the bigger players, the Seamless and the Grubhub. I can't communicate with my customer through either of those portals. With John's, there is a direct link. If they want to change their order, they have a problem with their order, if they need a refund, anything, if they love their order, they're communicating with us. I could never, nor could a client, get in touch with anyone at Seamless and Grubhub to say if they had a problem with something that they had today. Never happened.
I hope you guys do so well with this, and a lot of restaurant owners and business people do. And it's very interesting that you're scaling pretty quickly.
Yeah, we're doing well.
Wow, that's nice to get that
Yeah,
response.
it is.